Good evening, and welcome back to another episode of What's Your Story? Tonight we are sitting down with Reverend Susan Townsley, the pastor of the South Congregational Church.
That is correct.
How long have you been there?
Just about 3 years now.
Okay, so if you haven't met her yet, this is an opportunity to meet her, but thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Oh, such a delight.
So you've got a lot of things going on over there.
Yeah, it's a busy time of year.
Yeah.
We're planning all the Christmas services now. So we'll be ready for people to come 10:30, 4, and 7:30 to our holiday services, and would be so happy to see any of you there.
Oh, that's great. Where did you grow up?
I am an Army brat, so I grew up living all around the United States, and a couple of times we lived in Germany. I was born in Germany, actually.
Okay,
My
we've
back
heard
there
this
again.
story before. There's a few people in town that have been.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Where was Germany?
No, yeah, where in Germany?
I was born in Stuttgart, and when I was a late elementary school, early middle school, I was in Frankfurt.
Okay.
So, and my parents sent me to a German school. They just dumped me there,
Wow.
knowing not a word. And by the end of the first year, I pretty much was fluent in
Wow.
German. Yeah.
Do you keep it up?
You know, I didn't for many, many years, but just recently I've started Duolingoing my German again.
Oh, good for you.
And I do have to say, I went to Germany about 2 years ago, and I was surprised how much did start just coming back to
Yeah,
me. So
yeah.
it wasn't pretty, but I could make myself understood.
So after you came to the States, and what was that like? Where were you there?
So after we came back from Germany, we moved to Oregon,
Okay.
which was a wonderful place to be for middle school and first couple of years of high school.
Yeah.
Beautiful place to live, and just really enjoyed the skiing nearby, outdoors.
Yeah.
Somehow made it through all the drizzle and the rain. And then my senior year of high school, we moved to the Washington, D.C. area.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And did you go to school? Did you go to college there?
No, I went to college in Massachusetts. I went to Smith College.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like? Is that all girls?
It's still all women.
Okay. Women, I should say. Yeah, sorry.
It was a wonderful experience. I describe it as the best 4 contiguous years of my life.
Yeah.
I was so ready to go to college and take advantage of all that was there.
Yeah.
There were so many opportunities. I participated in the dance program. I was in the choirs there. I learned how to play squash while I was there.
So a nice, well-rounded education.
Yeah, and in the meanwhile, I was a math major.
So, and then how did you get to Kennebunkport?
So my husband and I had been living in Connecticut for a long time, and he was moving towards retirement, and I had a position where I knew leadership was changing, and it was a good moment for me to consider what I wanted to do with the last chunk of my career.
Yep.
And both of us were ready to leave Connecticut. We had just been there for such a long time, loved living there, but it was time for a change.
Yeah.
So I conducted a nationwide job search and was looking for a church that had a sense of humor about itself and said something about needing innovation in their profile material. And this was one of the 4 churches that emerged to the top of my search, and here I am.
Wow, that's great. And it's such a beautiful community to be in. And your job is, I'm sure, 24/7.
It can be busy.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it is one of the challenges that I'd love to spend more time getting to know the community, getting to know people, experiencing the businesses and what there is here to offer. What I will say is that I do a great job of finding places to walk because we have 2 chocolate labs. So if you see somebody walking chocolate lab, 2 of them, it's either me or my husband probably. So we certainly have explored all the trails of the
that's great.
Conservation Trust. And,
It is a good, I mean, there's many places to go around here. So even just like park your car sometimes too, and up on Ocean Avenue or
nice street walking around here to see beautiful things. So
do your dogs like the beach?
They do like the beach. The irony is that I'm not a big beach person, so it's hilarious that we live here. I did not go to the beach once last summer, but I do tend to go more in the wintertime because I just enjoy walking on the beach. So
and there's a lot of time to reflect, I think, in a different season. You know, when you're walking along, it's a whole different.
Absolutely.
Because you don't have all those distractions of people. I guess.
It's very restful and with the water, and very often when I go, it's fairly early in the morning, so I'm watching the sunrise, and that's beautiful. And amazingly, every now and then I run across somebody I know on the beach too, so that's kind of fun.
That is kind of fun. So for being a pastor, is there a special, like, how do you get to be a pastor?
How do you get to be a pastor? Well, it is a process for every denomination that's slightly different. In my tradition, you have to do a Master's of Divinity, which is a 3-year professional degree. And then you have to go through an ordination process, which involves some vetting, some making sure that you're psychologically well-grounded, having conversations with a number of people who are in ministry for them to do some assessments about where your growing edges are, writing an ordination paper, which then you are quizzed on in a public setting. So that's always one of those big markers for people towards ordination. And then finally, after that's over, you're approved for ordination.
That's a lot of work.
So I've been ordained for, what is it now, 32-ish years, 33 years, and I was born, but I was ordained actually in Bath, Maine, which was my first parish setting. So it was, when we came back this direction, it did feel a little bit like kind of coming back home again.
Coming back home again. Well, I just think that, you know, for the people that you touch, I think, and just, you know, the guidance that you give, it's a pretty amazing gift that you have.
Well, I'm gifted by many wonderful leaders in the congregation. Many of them you know.
Yes, I do.
They're kind of the good folks who are leaders in the community as well. And one of the interesting things about my tradition, the Congregational tradition, is the pastor is actually not considered the boss of the church at all. We're actually just considered another member of the congregation. So our leadership is by, it's called pastoral leadership rather than authoritative leadership. So my job is really to help the congregation together discern what its best direction is. And sometimes I'm a little ahead of them, and sometimes they're ahead of me. So it's a wonderful experience. Sometimes a little messy, but it's really lovely.
So what's going on over there these days? You've got a lot.
We've got a lot going on. We are busy working on a big project. We received a grant from the Calvin Institute of Christian Worship, which is based out of Calvin Seminary in Grand Rapids, and they are funded by Lilly Foundation. So we received a grant to create a theologically informed art installation using the artwork of artists in the community. Some of them are professional, some of them are amateur, some of them are children, some of them are teenagers. So we have 34 artists, each working on 2 canvases.
Oh, wow.
One will represent images of dark and struggle and despair, and the other of renewal and hope and joy. And the installation will have all the darker canvases on the outside, and then you'll enter into this structure and all the lighter ones will be on the inside. So it emulates the idea of the tomb, which is an enormous Christian image that you enter in the tomb and there you find rebirth. So we're really happy that this is going to be out front of the church starting in April, and there'll be some events related to it too, but people will be able to come and bring their own spiritual wisdom to it, to interact with it, and discover, we hope, something new or something that will help them reflect on these images in their own lives.
That's wonderful. And you've got, you were telling me recently about another program that you do, Shorts on the Hill.
Shorts on the Green.
Shorts on the Green.
Yes.
Shorts on the Green. I think that is just such a great, that's a great program that you offer. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, be happy to. In the summertime, we usually meet for 4 or 5 sessions. Each session has 1 or 2 short stories that we associate with it, and everyone gets the short stories in advance, and we read them in advance. And then, weather permitting, we sit out on our river green in some lawn chairs and talk about the stories. We just do really close reading, and it's just a wonderful conversation. Everybody contributes, and sometimes we have different opinions about what the author is trying to accomplish, but it is just a joy. Everyone really enjoys it.
That sounds like so much fun. Do you have a, is there age, do you have an age group that's mostly attending something like that, or is it all ages? Or?
Well, all ages certainly would be welcome. We do live in Kennebunkport, and so we know the demographics, and so much like this area, a lot of the demographics of the church are primarily people who are towards retirement age, if not in retirement age, so
So, and you have always ongoing with, like, this old building, there are always things going on.
Projects.
Over there. Do you get involved with that, or?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I try to stay out of it. Once a year we do a cleanup day, which is just really fun, and we usually try to identify a project that people can participate in. So last year our folks got involved in painting the front of the community house, which was terrific. So,
okay, so that wasn't a group. That was
just our people doing some of that.
Great.
Now, the higher parts and more challenging parts, we did hire
because of scaffolding.
Somebody else, exactly. But the stuff that was on the ground and required only a ladder, my good folks did that,
So, this is a strange question. How many times a day do you think your church gets photographed?
Oh, no, that's not a strange question. That's a great question. So I have to tell you, when I came here, all the people I met said, we're the most photographed church in all of Maine. Well, I don't think there's any way you can possibly have any statistic about that. But I am surprised, especially in the summer, pretty much every time I drive over the bridge, somebody is standing, looking over towards our church with their phone up or a camera, taking a photograph. And also, sometimes people just walk right down the middle of Temple Street and take a picture of the church.
Yes, they do, and they might even get hit.
Well, we hope not.
No, but that's happened to me many times where I'm going over to the post office and I don't roll my eyes. I just let them take their picture because that's something I get to look at every day.
Right.
And for some people, a church like that might have been replaced by a newer, more modern church.
Yeah.
And so you don't find this often.
1824 is when the building was constructed, and we will actually do a little celebration of that.
Oh, that's so great.
Fall.
That's great.
That's really great. Yeah, we all live with tourists, and we certainly do where we're located as well. But I've learned it's just a good opportunity to practice compassion
That's right.
and patience every time we go through downtown and say, aren't we lucky we live here? And isn't it lovely that all these people are enjoying our beautiful town?
Yeah. The beaches, the river, like the walks that you had mentioned, but the architecture too is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's just so pretty.
So as far as your installation, is that something that you would be looking for help on, or you've got it all pretty much nailed down? Do you need people to help you, or?
Well, we certainly are interested in artists who are inspired by this idea. We also will be hosting a night of song and poetry, an open mic night.
Okay.
And so that will be announced when all of our events get settled into the calendar.
Yeah.
So we hope people will come and participate and bring perhaps a poem, perhaps some other piece of prose, perhaps a song on one of those two themes, or maybe even one on both of the themes. We don't know. So that would be lovely. We will have some displays up in the community house as well as on the outside installation. So there is some space if there's an artist who's in particular inspired by this idea.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So I know that your job is 24/7, but is there time besides walking your dogs? Do you have time to do, like, what do you like to do when you're not?
Well, I do love to walk, and I'm an avid fiction reader.
Okay.
So I do spend a fair amount of time reading.
Yeah.
And I love to ski, so when it's possible to get away, that's one of the things I will do.
Yeah.
And I love to hike, and so I try to meet with some hiking friends about once a year, once every 18 months.
Yeah.
And we go someplace and do 3 or 4 or 5 days of hiking, so that's always something to look forward to.
Now, your husband is retired. Does he help you at the church, or?
Well, he is, he's certainly got a mind of his own, but he entertains many people at the church because he's got a great sense of humor, and he keeps many of us laughing. He is doing some consulting work, and so actually right now he is finishing up something which we're hoping is going to be over near the end of January. He's been driving over to Hooksett, New Hampshire for 2 to 3 to 4 days a week. So it's doable. I miss having him around, but it works. I'm at so many night meetings anyway, so I can't complain when he's out of town.
Do the dogs go cuckoo when he comes back?
Oh, they are so happy to see him. It's crazy. And the dogs have been coming to church every now and then, too, to keep me company when the day is super long. So
do you have big family, siblings, a lot of?
Yeah, so I have 2 adult children, and one is living in Cambridge, and the other has recently moved to Pasadena, California.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that's a little harder to get to see him.
Yeah.
And he just has announced an engagement, so we're looking forward to wedding plans, which will unfold probably sometime in 2025, we think, at this point. So, yeah, that's super exciting.
And what about you? Any siblings?
I have 2 brothers and a sister.
Okay.
And very typical of an Army family, they just kind of dropped all over the world. So my oldest brother is in the San Francisco area. My sister recently moved from the New York area to Houston. And my other brother has lived in Steamboat Springs for many years.
So good places to go visit.
Yeah, absolutely. Not complaining about that. And we actually get together we try every other year to see one another. So just actually recently we all met up in St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
Had a great time. Just the 4 of us siblings, no spouses or anything. And
that's kind of rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Did you go up in the?
No,
art?
we didn't. We actually, when we lived as kids in Illinois, in Champaign-Urbana, we all went up the arch at that point. So we didn't feel like we needed to do it again. But we did go to their Museum of Art, which was lovely, and they have fantastic botanical gardens there as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. So when we get ready to wrap up our interview, we do a little one word rapid fire round question answer.
Okay. All right.
You ready?
All right.
Okay.
The word's already in my head, pajamas. That's the answer to the first one.
Gee, I haven't asked that question yet. Huh. Favorite author?
Oh, I'm going to say right now it's King Solver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you read the latest?
I did and really enjoyed it, but I have to tell you, Animal Vegetable Miracle has been one of my favorite books for years, and I listened to it on tape, which she actually narrates, and when it was over, I just missed her.
Yeah. I've listened to a lot of her books on CD just because I love her voice, and they're kind of thick.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
That's a good way for me to get through because I don't do well with going home, getting things done, going upstairs right before bed. It's like one page in and I'm out.
Yeah.
So
yes, the cobbler's children have no shoes.
Something like
the
that.
librarian can't read the books.
That's right. That's right. Do you have a favorite movie?
Oh, yes. My Brilliant Career, which is a very old Australian film.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah.
Anybody that we know in that?
Judy Davis was in it.
Yeah.
And Sam Neill.
Yeah.
It's quite an old movie. I think I saw it in college and just thought it's a charming story. It's beautiful.
Okay, we'll have to check that one out. Do you have a favorite cocktail?
Favorite cocktail, anything with gin in it.
Okay.
I am a gin fan.
We are too.
I made not an aviator, an aviation this past weekend. We had some guests. I'm going to have to work on that one.
So that one was with the aviation gin?
No, it was just regular gin, but it had creme de violette and lemon juice and Luxardo, like the Luxardo cherries. You drizzle a little of that juice in there too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was a little sweet for my taste.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe not as much of the juice.
Yeah. Exactly.
What is the coolest place you've ever been?
Oh, gosh. So we were very lucky. We lived in Japan for 4 years because of my husband's job. And I'm going to go for Aizu Wakamatsu, which is kind of a town in the middle of Japan, and it was just really fascinating.
Wow.
Had a castle, had this really amazing wooden structure that didn't have stairs, but just the building, the floor spiraled up. It was just amazing.
Wow. Do you have a favorite restaurant?
Oh, I really love Elda.
Okay.
That's a special treat.
Yes, that is a special treat. It's very interesting too.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a foodie.
Yeah, well, we eat pretty much anything. Again, living in Asia, my husband made us try everything. So when we were in Cambodia, we go to the market. He's like, "Oh, look, they're selling bugs. We have to try them." So yes, we tried the bugs.
So, and just to finish up, so your installation is April.
Yeah, it'll be up from April 1. I'm sorry, what am I saying? From March 1 through the end of April. From March 1 through the end of April. So it and then Easter falls right in the middle of this. So this is lovely because we get half of the time will be the Lenten season and half of the time will be the Easter season.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Good timing on that.
Yeah. And there'll be some other fun events coming, an opening night. We're going to probably have a guest speaker come at some point. And so keep looking at our website and we'll post the events.
And if there's anything we can help you with, we would love to.
Wow, we'll be talking about that.
So thank you so much for sitting down with us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Sure, my
And thank you
pleasure.
for all you do for this community.
Thank you for all you do
Wow.
for this community.
It's a nice place to work, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
It's a nice place. There are many
I can't
lovely
say
partners.
live because I don't live here, but
Yeah, I do.
So-
yeah, I live right back there somewhere.
yeah. And thank you all for being with us tonight. And thanks to our producer, Mike Kelly. And hopefully we will see you right back here next time on What's Your Story?